We are going to do in this session is set up a collision detection so that if our enemy hits the player, then it's going to either cause damage or remove a life from it. Okay, this is a fairly easy concept to use, but there's a few steps in there and there's a little bit of logic we need to think of. Now, if I click on my sprites here and I scroll down, and I'll go to this one here, the overlap. So this is overlaps or collision detection as it's commonly known. So if I click, drag and drop that in, I'm just going to move this down a little bit here. So on sprite of kind player, overlaps at the sprite of kind player. Now we need to change this because it's basically saying if the player hits a player, which it's not going to because I've only got one player here. So if the player hits an enemy, then we need to do something here. Now I'm just going to show you very quickly. If I go into the info, and if you look here, look, I've got lives. So I'm going to change the life here, look, by -1. And let's play that. So if I play that, lovely. So what happens is this enemy has hit my player. Its life has gone from whatever it was set to. It's probably set to 1 at least, and then obviously we've taken 1 away, so it's ended the game. So the game's intelligent enough to know it's got intelligence built in, so that if the game life goes probably past 0, then it's going to be game over, like what it's got here. So in order to do that, we need to give it a little bit more of a chance. So we need to set the lives to 3 to start with. Now, handily back at the top here, look, we've got an on start command. So back in this info, we are going to set the life to 3. And it doesn't actually matter which where this goes. I've accidentally put it in here, so let me just remove that because I want it to go in order. So I've got 3 lives. Now what you should see, I've got 3 hearts here, which I didn't have before. But watch what happens. It's still ending the game when only 1 object hits. Now what you've got to think of is every second this object moves, it's hitting this player. So even though it's just hit, if it hits for 3 seconds, it counts really as 3 lives. So what we need to do basically is this. We need to destroy this instance of the enemy. So as soon as this enemy hits my player, we need to get rid of it. Right? Otherwise this will happen. Now to do this handily, there is a destroy option. So if I click on the sprites and I'm going to look down here, so we've got destroy. Now this is where you need to be careful with this. We're not destroying the sprite, we're destroying the other sprite. Now if I click on my drop down here, you can see other sprite isn't actually here. So what we do is we drag and we drop that in there. And you can see it's outdid something else, so I'm just going to remove that here. Now, let me just go through that again with you very, very quickly, because it is a little bit difficult to see sometimes. So I've added in a new code block here called destroy. It's in the sprites variable. I'm going to click on other sprite, drag that in and leave it go, and I'm going to remove what's come out of it. Now watch what happens this time, right? Bearing in mind I've got 3 lives. So that's 1 life gone. That's my 2nd life gone. And that's the 3rd life gone. Now we can add little effects to this. So spray effect as an example. So if I hit that, you can see it's spraying, or we can change the effect to whatever you want, right? We can put it into confetti if you really wanted to. But basically, you need to make sure you are destroying that instance of the destroying the instance of the enemy when it hits you, right? Otherwise, it's gonna use all your lives very quickly. Now, one last thing that we can do. I know this is quite a large thing. What we can do is we can make the camera almost shake. So if I click on scene and I'm going to look for, there's an option called camera shake. If I scroll down a little bit, it is here somewhere. There we are. Is it? Yeah, shake. So camera shake. If I drag that in here. So every time my enemy hits my player, it's going to appear to wobble. There you are. Can you see that? So it's almost like shaking as if we've got a crash. Okay, so just to recap, this is quite a large section that you are going to need to do. The first thing that you are going to need to do is add in this code block here, the on sprite of kind player. You're then going to change this option at the end here called enemy. You need to add in a change life block here, which is from the info category. You then will need to add in this here, this set life to 3. And then once you've done that, you'll need the destroy block, which is blue, so it's from the sprites option. You then need to drag in this other sprite in here, and whatever pops out, remove it. And then if you want to add an effect, click on the plus. And then if you want to add that little bit extra there with the camera shake, you can use the scene option there and just drag that in. So again, if you can pause the video now and add in this collision detection for me now, please.